And so happy Tuesday, everybody. It is 1 o'clock. This is when we have our house calls with various designers that I sort of interview and have fun with. I do this every day, Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday I work with Carson and I take questions on Fridays. So on Fridays, please remember to go. You can go to media@tomfelicia.com. That's media at THOMFILICIA, all eyes.com. And you can send questions and we will answer your questions on Friday. So that's really cool. So, and in regard to questions, if you guys have any questions today, please send the questions to our live feed, and we will try to get to them while we're chatting. Today we're going to be chatting with the glorious, glamorous, and gorgeous Genevieve Gorder, who has, she's a HGTV princess. She's amazing. She's a designer. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a friend. She's a neighbor. She's awesome. And she's not only HGTV, she's had a million other shows, and we'll talk all about that. So let me see if Miss Genevieve Gorder is ready to sort of connect with us. Let me see. There we go. And wait, let's see. There we go. Here we go. Yep, there she is. So, waiting for Miss Genevieve Gorder. Let's see what's happening. Make sure that I'm not in any trouble here with, okay. Oh, tap, tap. Hello, back again. We're waiting for Miss Genevieve Gorder. So she's connecting at the moment. Oh, here we go.
What
up, girl?
Quarantine Design Talk. I love this. Hi, Tom. I miss you.
How are you?
I'm good. Where are you?
I am at my lake house up in the Finger Lakes. Here, I'll show you. Look, watch here. See,
you know what? That's a little bit of a fuck you, Tom. That looks like Minnesota. I'm in New York City, a block away from your other house.
Wait, you're your house in New York, right?
Yeah, I can see your house from here. But I gotta tell you,
no, we're neighbors. I can't believe
I know. No one knows this. Does this lighting look weird?
No,
hang on.
You look. By the way, you're beautiful. You're just stunning. You're a beautiful gal.
Well,
and you
thanks,
look
Tom.
good
I
in a
think
hat.
you're very good looking too.
And
I'm wearing a hat today because I ran in place for about 3.5 miles in my living room, and my hair is a little sweaty. So
I like it. Well,
and
beers. Today I'm having beer. Every day I switch it up. I either have a beer or white wine or red wine or a margarita or all of the above.
I feel like we're a little bit of Andy Cohen right now, and I'm with a gin and tonic, ready to go at 1 o'clock.
Nice. Yes, I actually, what's so funny? I was doing vodka sodas the other day, and I have to tell you, I think I had one too many in the afternoon.
Those days. We've had a lot of those days lately, and it's okay. We have permission.
Yeah,
to be alcoholic.
I'm actually trying. I only have one drink during the day, and then I wait till 7 o'clock and kind of maybe have a glass.
7 is late. It's 5 o'clock in the city, and your neighborhood is on fire. We are out there clapping. People are streaking.
Wait, are you doing the clapping thing at 7 o'clock?
I'm DJing now. I'm playing songs from the rooftop. Everyone's singing them. It's on fire.
Wait, are you DJing on Instagram so we can join you? Or is it just...
Oh, that's a great idea. You want me to do that tonight?
Yes, DJ on Instagram.
Okay.
I'll totally follow. I'm so into it.
All right, the courtyard is
Have you seen DJ
bananas?
D-Night?
Yeah, I will ID it
oh
tonight.
God,
you can all be a part of it. Because everyone gets so teary. And
yeah.
we really do show up. New Yorkers show up, and I love that.
New Yorkers, by the way, it is amazing. Every day when the fire engines come out and they beep the horns and everybody claps and thanks all of the people who are fearlessly going into those hospitals and going to work and taking care of people with not enough equipment and not enough of anything else. And it's amazing. It's just, it actually brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? I mean, I get
every night. Yeah. And I honestly, when trouble hits, you want to be nowhere else but home. Yeah. Remember 9/11? It was the same thing. I didn't want to move.
Well, yeah, New York is really amazing that way. And I hope every other city probably is the same. For sure. We just know it because it's our city. But I would say that, it just, those are the heroes right now. All of these people who are like our first responders, our police officers, our fire department, all of the healthcare workers. I mean, it's really,
And the delivery guys, thank you for the mail.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amazon.
Yeah. My FedEx guy almost ran both my dogs over today. I was like, dude. I mean,
listen, we have a lot of friends on here, Tom. We have a lot of people who know showing up. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. We love you. We're so happy you're with us today. So,
it's nice to see your face, Tom.
Well, by the way, it's always good to see your face. How is your gorgeous husband? He's great.
Oh, he's being so handsome upstairs working.
He is. And how's your beautiful daughter?
She's good. We're kind of renovating everything in the house. You know that as designers, we have such terrible OCD with color, lighting, things that need to be fixed, arrangements. So it's like all these cracks of life that I have been putting off forever because we have a very busy life and we do everyone else's home. I'm finally addressing, but you know, there's no help. It's not like there's a carpenter to show up. And
are you finding being at home, right? Okay, aside, and I'm going to get to all the stuff you're doing at home, but do you find being at home like you're like, oh my God, that's got to go. I can't believe I still have that. I've got to move that over there. You know,
yes.
Are you doing that?
Yes and no. Like, it is absolutely my most comfortable place in life. Like, home is our job and it's my passion. I love.
By the way, I love your apartment. I love the design of your apartment, and it's really cool. You have a duplex, which is so cool, and I love the design of it. I saw it in some magazine. Oh, speaking of which,
and you've been here.
That's right.
And I've been to the parties. I think you showed up one day.
I did. And also, my apartment's actually in El Decor this month, right now in April. So I mean, you probably can't get one because where do you get it? But probably a subscription. Anyways, but so that's kind of cool. But
what about you? Are you going crazy at home? Because I am purging, and I mean purging as much as we can because it's a big deal to throw stuff out and take it down 4 flights of stairs, and you go out once a day.
Right.
How are you attacking, or is your house just perfect like you?
I wish I was perfect. I'm not. I don't even know what perfect really means, but I think like a real diamond, you have to have flaws. But anyways, your house.
So many.
You know what? I've cleaned I've told this every day. I've cleaned every cabinet, every closet, every drawer. And now I'm looking at the basement with teary eyes. Like, I've got to get down there. But I'm here with my 2 dogs. They're amazing. I'm here with one of my very good friends who is a hypochondriac on a regular day. And now he's like the perfect house guest. He's staying in the guest house. And he's like, I said, there's an outlet in his house. It's not working. I'm like, you know what? I'm friends with the electrician. Maybe he can come over and take a look at it. And he's like, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm doing all my own electrical work. And I don't even think stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. We can't do that. But like, my brain is like, let's fix it. But anyways, my ice machine is starting to act up, and I'm getting nervous that without an ice, because I was going to write a cookbook called How to Entertain Without a Stove. All you need is an ice maker and a dream. And now my ice maker is kind of acting up, and I'm getting nervous. So
I'll give you a tip. Yeah. Because my ice maker broke like a couple weeks ago. You know, the round spherical ice molds.
Yes.
Buy like 6 or 7 of them, because the ice lasts so much longer. You don't need as much. You need 1 per glass. Yes. And it lasts you an hour. So if your maker goes
I have those. I do have those. Okay. Well, so I have an ice maker in the freezer, and then I have an ice machine at the bar that's like, you can put a scooper in it, and it's like little, I call it liquid gold.
I mean, bougie problems.
I love it. I know, it's a real sorority girl problem. I call it sorority girl problems. I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a sorority girl problem. My ice maker doesn't work.
Kappa Gamma Alpha. Yes.
Okay. So Genevieve, everybody knows you and loves you from television. Not just HGTV, which you're like the HGTV queen. You're amazing, and we love you, adore you, and everyone loves inviting you into their home. But also, you've done so many other things. You've done like 20 other shows other than that. And my question to you is, how did that all happen? Like, tell us the behind the scenes, Genevieve Gorder, how you've become this sort of the queen of design. You know,
oh my God, you're so
our television gal.
I mean, TV, as you know, because we came up together.
Yeah.
It was never a plan. Like, I didn't plan to be on television. I think we're both terribly extroverted people And
Yes.
so our comfort zone comes in the interaction with people, the connection, the presentation was always some of my favorite pieces of working in a studio that was much more traditional. I started as a designer working professionally at the age of 18, 19.
Wow.
I know.
Where were you? Where were you at 18 years old?
I was here. So I went to school first out in Portland, Oregon, thinking I was going to be in international affairs. I speak like a couple of different languages.
I want to have an international affair, just an international affair.
I think maybe that's why I wanted to go into the Foreign Service or just to throw parties around the world. At 18, you know, what really is your goal? So I quickly realized I wasn't going to be in international affairs. It was so much more business and politically motivated than sociological and anthropological, which is more my soul. And I had been redoing houses with my family my entire life. I grew up in Minneapolis, where in the Midwest, Detroit, Minneapolis, Milwaukee.
Minneapolis.
It's so awesome. And so many designers are from there, as we all know. Nate, I mean, there's such a bucket. To David, there's so many of us. Anyway, it was in my blood. I come from artists, musicians, dancers, painters.
That's not surprising. You're so like, I get that. Like you're bohemian. Like you have like this kind of amazing sort of, first of all, you're so approachable and real and lovely. And for a gorgeous woman who's so successful, that is like very rare and awesome.
That's really sweet of you to say.
You are like, I can say to anyone who is watching this, if you see Genevieve in the real world, you can walk up and say hello to her and you would give them a hug and a kiss and be like, thank you so much. I appreciate you like paying attention and following me because I still can't believe it. Like you're just that person. And
I mean, that's my whole life. It's just your soul, you know? And I'm intuitive and I'm empathetic and I love humanity. So I will be that person on the plane that the guy, you know, tells me about his whole life in the first 2 minutes. And it's an honor and it's just my wiring. It's my wiring. And I think coming from the Midwest, we speak to people in the same, we use the same language for everybody. There isn't any kind of class system. There is no like racially, I speak this way to you and to it is so socialist.
I grew up in upstate New York, and I think it's very similar to the Midwest that way. That it's a little bit, it's not quite as, you know, New York City has very defined, even though people think of it as the most liberal place in the world, things are pretty defined.
It's East Coast, and it's like a class system that is, I didn't grow up with. So I'm like, who cares? I'm going to go to this whatever Hamptons party, and I'm going to wear a t-shirt. I don't care what anyone else is wearing because I'm cool with me.
That's why I love you. That's why I love you. Oh, my God.
So anyway, let me fast forward. I quickly found design. I connected all the dots of how we grew up and that this is actually a job because as a kid, I wasn't around interior designers. Were you?
What? Well, you know, okay, so funny. My mother, there was an interior designer that was helping my mother with a few things, you know, like reupholstering sofas or whatever. And I would go to the meetings and I was probably like, you know, like at home, I was probably like 11, 12 years old maybe when this was kind of happening.
Did you know you were gay?
I think I did, but I didn't understand what it was yet. I was like, you know, I knew that I was, kind of knew, but I didn't really know, or I didn't know how to apply it. So when I was a little kid, we decorated our rooms when I was about 6 years old. We each kind of got to decorate our rooms with our mom when they were redoing the house. And then when I was about 11 or 12, my mom was redoing some stuff. And I'll never forget, the girl showed up and she was driving a Saab 900.
Oh, my favorite.
SPG convertible. And I literally was like, this is my favorite car. I cannot believe it.
This is my life.
And I was like fascinated by this car. And then she walked in and she was kind of like this cool young girl. And my mom and her had so much fun and they were like drinking wine and like talking and like.
Oh, like us?
And I just, and I just thought, wow, that's a cool job. And she drives like my favorite car. And so that was kind of like the first window into what I thought was cool about the profession.
And the lifestyle.
Really interested in what my mom, but what really got me interested in it was my mom was a real estate broker when I was in high school, and she had a lockbox key. So you could go into all the houses that were for sale. So I used to like take it off of her keychain, and like my friend John and I would get on our bikes and go and like go to houses that were being built.
It's
Or
like
like,
porn. It's porn.
and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like this house. I don't like the layout. I mean, I loved it. I wanted a skylight in my bedroom, and my parents said, well, there's like, we lived in a house that was built in the 20s, so it had a bedrooms on the third floor that were for when you used to have a staff or whatever. So there was no roof above my bedroom, and then the roof that we actually had was made out of tile, stone, or whatever. So it was like you couldn't put a skylight in it, or at least my parents said I couldn't. So I couldn't put a skylight.
We both grew up in heavy American architecture towns, like where everything could withstand 120 degrees of temperature variation. Things were built, and leaded glass windows and buffets, and all of our immigrant groups.
I grew up in a neighborhood that was all 1920s houses that were really interesting, from like Tudor to Georgian to Spanish colonial to like sort of classic American clapboard, like Center Hall colonial, Greek revivals. So it was interesting. It was a cool, there was some prairie style sort of houses and all those kind of, sort of Frank Lloyd Wright detail.
We had a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright, a lot of American Foursquare. The woodwork, because we were such a Scandinavian-based town, the woodwork was
amazing,
insane. And so you come out, at 17, 18, and you're like, my first apartment needs to have fluted columns, and the capitals better be hand carved, and a buffet, blah, 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 blah. And it's just your muscle memory of what home is from our childhoods. You realize what a gift that was.
Is that why you're so beautiful? What's your Scandinavian?
I'm half Norwegian and I'm half Croatian.
Got it. Well,
so I get color.
It looks real good. You and Christian are a stunning couple, by the way. And he's a dog.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, I love your husband.
He is one of the kindest humans I've had the chance to run into. And I said, never get married again unless he had a bigger heart than me. And so I thought, I'll be alone forever. And then,
I didn't know you were going to say heart. But anyway.
Well, I mean, the other part, I don't have one, so it's always going to be bigger than
mine. So Genevieve, okay, I have to ask you, like, we all see you, like I working in television design, we kind of are doing what we need to do in that situation, for that person, for those people, to kind of get them from where they are to where they need to be, right? But how would you describe your personal style? Like, what would you say, like, is your approach or your style, or how do you define that?
I think there's two approaches to design, honestly, and I don't mean to compartmentalize, but this is really clear to me personally, in that you either approach it from more of an architect standpoint, where it's very mathematical and planned and all the elevations, and it's much like checking the boxes. And the other side is coming at design from an artist perspective. So it's, how does this feel? Where does the light hit? Am I going to like this at 5 o'clock? I need to connect with this. And I obviously come from the artist side of this. It's like a sculpture to me, more than a formula.
I think
stylistically, I would say that I'm pretty globally inspired. Eclectic is a word that is so overused and tired. Ancient is a wormhole I live in prolifically, but of course I need the modern.
Do you think the new word, like, I think a lot of people that used to say eclectic, like, I remember that was very popular in the 80s and 90s. I think now I think it's sort of global. I think there's a global approach to design, and I almost think of global as like, global can be like just looking at it from every perspective. Global can be bringing in influences from all over the world and just being sort of open. So I think it's like a better word than eclectic, because eclectic just sounds very
messy. Like, it sounds like a bad quilt. I think global is a great word. I think ancestrally, I really try and pull in a lot of the story of who I am and how I got here on the backs of all these other people, not as though we're living in a photo album, but I represent. So like behind me, you can see over there, someone was asking about, there's this big ship, and it's my Croatian great-grandmother's ship pulling into New York Harbor.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like those little notes, it's like home is that one space that you control, and it's the one display case for your life. It's like no one else is going to display your story. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
own it in a rich way. And that
Yeah.
to me is one of the deepest ways
I think that's great.
to move
I think that's really cool.
and make.
It's so funny. Someone just said, I'm French and I love Genevieve's design.
They just love my name.
Cute. I love that. That's fabulous. So yeah, so hey, bring questions to Genevieve and I. We'd love to answer any questions that you have. So please feel free to do that, and we'll try to.
Hi, Kim. I love all these good friends. I actually started out in graphic design first. So I came to New York, yes, as a graphic designer, studying at SVA.
Yeah,
and I got my degree,
School of Visual Performing Arts. Yeah, great school.
And got my degree in graphic and a minor in interior. And I worked at MTV for about 6 years, and in Holland for 2 of those simultaneously. So cool. I was just working, and graphic is a part of my style, like photographically, and just like less is more in my modern. It's a really fine balance, because ancient is wild, but Scandinavian and graphic is this just, how can you say the most powerful thing with the least amount of things? And so I do that often. Heavy use of black and white too.
So I have a question for you. Okay, so you represent design on TV, and that's something, it's a very, it's a very unique thing to do, I think, because when we do residential projects for private clients or different types of projects, TV is very unique and special in and of itself, because it's got a very quick turnaround. It's completely chaotic. It's kind of fun and amazing, but you have to have like the mindset and the personality to kind of handle that craziness. But you also work on projects like hotels and restaurants. You do product, you do speaking engagements. So like how you have such a range. Like, what do you like the most, or what, how do you balance it all, or just how does that work?
It's a wild, unplanned career, as you know. I think we have to be very nimble and an octopus of sorts to really be able to make a living in design, period. I think running just the traditional design shop, you know better than anybody. You have to work your ass off and have 80 people that you feed and never know if you're going to get a job the next month.
Right.
And it's hard just to keep that scalable, no matter how successful you are. And believe me, I have met every single one of us who do this. And I've looked at how they run their businesses, and I knew that, I'm really bad at sitting. And so I need to be in constant movement. And television is good for that. Like type A.
Well, you have to be, you're having lunch and you're like, okay, I guess that chair is going to, we can't get the chair that you wanted, so can we do this one? And you're like, okay, well, let's put that there. Like, it's like the wallpaper didn't make the FedEx, so we're going to do a paint color. You're just kind of rolling with it. But
I think like coming from single mom, oldest of 3 kids, and you're the first daughter, so it's like you're taking care of everybody. We have that natural tendency to be like, okay, what do we need? How are we going to do this? We don't have what we need, and no is not an answer. And that is the perfect kind of attitude that works successfully in television, because we do the impossible. We're not making a meal in a week. We're making a house. Design television is impossible. But somehow there's always a yes to be found.
So I have a question. Do you have any, so is there any one type of favorite project in that world, or or do you like them all sort of
I need them all, because I can get bored. If I'm just doing Butsy's Upper East Side apartment, I am snoozing, and I feel like I'm not doing enough for the world. So I joined up with Oxfam, and
I was going to ask you about that. I think that's so cool. So tell us about Oxfam, and also, aren't you doing Sisters on the Planet?
That's part of Oxfam. So there's like a group of us, who basically go around the world on our own platforms. And of course, mine is home. And I believe that home is a basic right, a basic human right. And, it's in the middle of a pandemic, it's a little bit of a different message. But,
with Genevieve, before you go any further, I want you to describe what Oxfam is and what they fight and what they do, just so that everyone understands what you're talking about. Because not everybody will know what it
is.
FAM, Oxfam means. So go ahead.
Yeah. Oxfam is a big nonprofit organization that fights poverty around the world, but we do it in a way that goes through the women of every community, because women basically are
the
backbone makers.
Happen without them, we're totally.
Yeah. Look what's happening. So
exactly.
we work with the women all over the world. And depending on what country and what we're dealing with, whether it's gender rights or it's, you know, workers' rights, I happen to be dealing with what I do best, and that's home, and that's my voice. And so, of course, with Syria and the huge human displacement around the globe, and that extends into Central Africa and way beyond, I'm working at creating bills and lobbying for the right laws to be passed. So not only do we work with people who are in the struggle.
That's amazing. I love that.
We then go try and change the laws so that.
That's amazing.
It's cool. It feels like an A to Z. I don't like to do things halfway. As I said, I'm a type A. I like to do it all, and I like to do it really well, or not do it.
Yeah. No,
and
I think that's
phenomenal.
I love that you're doing that. And how can people find out more about Oxfam?
You know what? Just you can go on Instagram onto Oxfam America. You can go through my feed and find it too. But I think to your question, it's important to be really diverse, especially as we've seen with television, how it switched midway through our career into the internet and to streaming, and it doesn't work anything at all how we started. So if you're not nimble and you're not thinking progressively and you're not thinking in a more diverse way, you're dead.
I always talk to kids about, when I talk to young people about design, and they say, you know, how did you get started or whatever? And we always talk about all these different things, which I think is really fascinating, and I love to pass that information down, and we take interns and all this stuff. But I have to say, I always talk to students and I say, the world of design is so diverse now. You can work in PR for design. You can work in, there's like television and design. You can work in, there's just, it's become this like much bigger, it's not, you don't have to, you can be a product design. You can, there's so many parts of it now. I mean, there's hundreds of different ways you can approach the world of design. And I think
being a traditional designer is a tough way to live, period.
Right. I look at it as, I love doing product. I love having a showroom. I love having a design office. I love doing commercial and residential. I really love communicating about design. I love working in media with design. I love doing speaking engagements about design. So I like having it just makes it feel very well-rounded. And I think it feels more multi-layered, and it feels more modern as a business model. So
agreed.
That's
and
great.
We don't get bored.
And you don't get bored. And you don't get bored. Speaking of not getting bored, any favorite moments from TV? And you don't have to say best room wins when we shot together.
We shot together on a couple shows, my friend.
Yeah.
I remember when I first met you many, many years ago, and I feel like we've known each other forever because we came up in TV together, but Design Star.
Yes.
Where we first met.
Oh my God, that's right.
And we were in some like porn set in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn. And with all the graffiti. It was so cool, wasn't it? And
that was an awesome episode.
I will tell you though, so years ago, I was very nervous to be on TV. Like, even though people didn't think I was.
What's your sign?
What?
What's your sign?
I'm a Taurus. But
I don't nervous about anything.
I know, but I'm not nervous at all anymore. But I used to going to it. I was so comfortable on our set, working with our people when we were shooting Queer Eye. And when I would go to other sets, I was like a deer in headlights, and I was a little terrified. And also I was, public speaking was still kind of like that thing that I was still kind of getting used to. Now it's a totally different world, and I love to do it, and I enjoy it, and I feel like I can connect with people even in that environment, which is a new skill set for me in the last 5 years, I'd say. But yeah, that was a really fun moment in time. I remember that set. It was in Brooklyn. It was all graffiti.
It was an old porn set. There were hot tubs in all of our green rooms.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. I forgot about that.
I'm a Leo. Everybody's asking. I'm not an Aquarius. I'm a Leo. Very bossy. No, that was a great show because we got to meet so many people and make all of these new friendships. And you were one of those that I'm so proud to call you.
I have to ask you a question. I always felt weird. You know, I have to say, I always felt weird judging young people who never really worked in the business or really worked in television, who were
just
doing,
wanted to be famous.
And they just, well, I just felt like, it was like, God, I'm like, here we are judging these young people who don't really have, like, I don't know if they have enough reference to really be judged yet. You know what I mean? It's like, some of them were working in design for 2 or 3 years and then did the show. So that was different. But I just remember people that were like right out of school. I was like, how do you even have a clue what you're doing? I don't even know. I was like, you know, just, it was scary. To me, that was tough. That was
the judging shows were really important in my own career in that, you know, you go into television as we did and you don't know exactly why you were chosen or what it is that makes something successful or not successful, but you just happen to be there. And the judge, being the judge, and I did this not only here at HGTV, I did it over in Asia for a few years as well, and which was a whole different ball of wax. It's really capturing this lightning bug that you never give yourself credit for. And being Midwestern and upstate New York, we love to self-deprecate.
Totally,
that's like our religion. It's having this personality that can connect to human beings. First, you have to be a humanist. You have to have a great sense of humor, and then you have to know your shit, and you have to be able to talk about it in a way that is interesting, because what we do is terribly boring. If you're just talking about it in layman's terms. I'm painting a wall.
You have to know what you're doing and know how to actually be approachable in communication, which is really important. But I have to ask you this question. Great question. Someone just said, how will this time change how we do interior design? Very interesting question.
It's a great question. And I would have to say that all of these times, and while they're all very different, 9/11 to the market crash to now, have been the times that our careers have rocketed the most. And it's because everybody is living what we do every day. You are at home thinking about it. And that's what we get paid to do, and we get paid to fix. So I think television is a wonderful moment to dig into during these times, because no one wants to pay for an interior designer to come to their house if they're masked. Right now, money is tight. When we're scared, we don't spend, we fix. We're not flipping, we're not buying, we're fixing what we have, we're rearranging.
Or rearranging it, or just like editing it or moving it, or like just kind of like refreshing it. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
Right. And that's what all of our shows really were. The most successful ones, from Trading Spaces to all the HG shows to Queer Eye, it was about working with a lot of what you have to make it better, and then getting a couple extras to embellish. But it isn't about spending gobs. It's about thinking a little bit more cleverly.
Wait, someone's asking you, I wanted to ask you what sign you were, and someone's asking you.
Leo!
Aquarius? You're a Leo, Leo the lion.
I have it all over my necklace. I have lions everywhere.
That is too funny.
We're lovers. We're just lovers, and bossy lovers.
Well, someone said, with that hair, you better be a Leo.
I mean, you can't show up bald to the court when you're a Leo, or thin hair. No.
That's so funny. Well, there's some really. Do you have any advice for someone career changing in their? Do you have any advice for someone who's changing their career in their 30s, out of dance and choreography into interior design? Do you think all designers should go back to school and have a degree in the field? Interesting question, and I have a great answer. I want to hear your answer.
You want to go first?
I'll go. Okay. So 2 things. One is, I think that it's never too late to do whatever it is you feel like you need to do in your life, and go for it. And I will tell you that interior design school is great, and I would incorporate interior design school. You may be able to do either a full program, like the New York School of Interior Design, depending where you're located.
That's where my husband teaches.
Yeah, and it's a great school. But you can do something like that, or you can take specific programs that are classes that are interesting to you, and also work in design. Because at 30 years old, I think you're at an age where you can be a great resource to an office and to the design, the designers working in the office. And it's such a great way for you to learn. And when you're studying, I think it's a wonderful way. I don't know at 18 years old or 19 years old if that would make sense as much. Not for everyone, maybe for a few, but at 30, I think that could really work. Don't you agree?
I agree. I think interior design is typically something you get into a little bit later in life. I'm just weird that I did it at 18.
Me too. I have a degree in interior design from my undergrad. That's what I studied.
It's weird, right? It's not normal.
And my parents were surprised I was gay. I was like, I have a degree in interior design, and you paid for it. Hello?
Look, I think it's really hard to take advice from someone who has never owned a house to take care of your own house. And that's why I did it on TV first. And I can't believe they let me do it.
Yeah,
but our voice becomes more powerful as we have more life experience and we understand all the different dances in life. And coming from dance, I think is a super helpful addition to you as a designer, because home is all about movement. How we move through space, where we pause, where we linger. I was a trained musician for over 20 years, and I see music and composition everywhere in how I design. The allegro, the largo, the pause, I give room for all of those notes, and then it's objects instead. So think of what you've done before as almost extra education into becoming a fantastic designer.
I think that's great advice. I love that.
So, but know your art history. Know your design history. Like, don't come to it just like, I'm skilled and I can do this, because everyone thinks they're a designer and a photographer on Instagram. I get it. But knowing all of the people before you and what they've done is integral to you being taken seriously in the industry.
Also, let me just tell you, practical experience in anything that you are interested in and anything that you want to know about, or anything that you want to be a professional and have an impact in, you need to have practical, real experience, because there's nothing that will, that it just brings you to another level, and it's really important.
I agree. But some of my favorite designers are ones that didn't go to school for design. They just studied it like a maniac. Like, I'm sure, Picasso.
But I'm talking about practical experience. To me, is like working for a design firm, working for a designer, doing things like just decorating space, just jumping into it and start doing it, and working with clients and understanding the dynamic and the dialogue and how to make it work and what's important to people, and how to then also, it's a business. So you have to understand how to professionally make the business component of it work.
That's the hardest piece of design, because I think we come into it with an art head, and business is not a part of our academic career.
No.
It should be, because you cannot be a great artist if you don't know how to do business. And I found that a little bit too late, and thank God for agents and the many people who surround me that have helped build this career. Because all I've done is this wormhole of design and connecting with people. They do all the hard stuff.
That's amazing. So I have a question for you, Genevieve.
What?
What makes an interior beautiful to you?
When it feels like you're not trying.
I totally agree. When it feels authentic and natural and real. And I also think when it sort of tells a real story about who you are, and it's not just a beautiful place. It's like, it's got to have layers and interest and tell a story and have emotion, and it has to have, like, you have to feel connected to it.
If I walk in and I see each pillow perfectly creased and karate chopped, I know that you were trying. It's like someone who does too much in the process of getting ready, and you see the try before you see the person. Look, I don't want to walk into your sloppy futon. I
love you, and I love what you just said 100%. I mean, I can see that person, like, at a party, and you just walk in and you're like, you spent too much time in front of the mirror. You just put too much thought in that outfit, and you just don't look like it happened. It doesn't.
I don't want to know you.
It feels like over-processed food. It's
just. It hurts. It hurts. And it's like when you see Fendi on Gucci on Dolce. And you're like, I see the
Yeah.
try in this. And
Yeah.
it's not really who you are.
Yeah.
It's what you think you should be.
Yeah.
And I see that in home a lot.
It also becomes very difficult to actually see what's real because you're confronted with all of this other like information as opposed to saying like, welcome, come on in, like take your, you know, whatever, like relax.
Right. It's not about impressing me. Yes, I want to be in a beautiful home where I feel relaxed and excited to be there. A, 101. But B, I want to know more about who lives there and why I'm attracted to this space. So tell me your story. This is the one chance you have. And it's like when I walk out the door, not every day I'm looking right, but when I do look right and I'm showing up, it's like, this is me because, and the house should pop like that. It doesn't have to be spick and span every single minute. That's not perfection. You should see my sink full of dishes right now. But I feel like I'm Mel, Flo, and Alice right now. I am doing all of it full time.
Well, let's ask you a question. Speaking of which, you know, you're home, right? And I assume you're cooking and
all the time
stuff, right? Any delicious meals that you're excited about right now, or?
Yes, this is like if I weren't a designer, I would be cooking somewhere. So I have become the home ec teacher in my house because my daughter is, of course, studying at home. So we are making a lot of bunts, angel foods. We made a chocolate mousse with leftover egg yolks. I want to use every single thing tip to tail, whether it's a scallion or an egg. There's nothing thrown away. But for dinners, I take it seriously because I have time and I love to cook. If you're a designer and don't like to cook, I don't get it because it's all of the same things.
All creative.
Making people feel good with what you can make. And so I've done a lot of different Vietnamese soups. I've done a lot of Lebanese. I love Lebanese food a lot.
Amazing.
We had a taco bar.
I'm doing basic things. I'm doing basic things like, well, it's not super basic, but I'm doing like
gin and tonics,
chicken dishes, like high art, and last night we'll do like it's my friend Ernie and I were doing like theme nights, and then we kind of one of us does the drinks and one of us does the food, and but we did, you know, we're grilling tonight. We're gonna grill. We're gonna we're gonna grill salmon in cedar planks. We were supposed to do it last night, and then we just kind of wimped out. But
can I tell you that we're doing dates as well, where we have to dress up?
I'd love to go on a date. Wait.
Yeah, we go on a date in the house, and he'll come downstairs, and I'll meet him in the dining room.
Oh, really?
And we have
you
to
guys pretend like you didn't know each other, and it's like love.
It's like, oh, you look at you because you have your pants on, and it's like, wow.
And you're like, and look at you because you have your pants off.
I'll wear a scarf and no pants, and it works.
Oh,
so it's been great to know that you can live with the people you are quarantined with in a beautiful way. Because I'm sure a lot of people are figuring out that they can't live with their people.
Yeah, no. I have to say, my friend Ernie is like the greatest. He's so easy. He's a great. Like, if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, I'll like slowly take it off. But if someone's got it on too, I'm like, we're doing
I
that.
have two autoimmune diseases, and I grew up with asthma. There is no way.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going down. And you know, in New York City, if we go down, we're dead.
Yeah, I know. It's scary.
There's nothing for us.
It's scary. So let me ask you a question. With all of that, any tips for moms at home right now?
Yes. Oh, God. I'm loving, actually. And look, my daughter's 12, so it'd be much different if she were 6 and needing constant, entertaining. That's my puppy.
You're a New York mom on top of it all. You got a dog. I mean, you're killing it. And you're making Lebanese food. I'm like, really? I mean, seriously?
You can come over soon. I would say to all moms out there.
You're like Superwoman.
Quit it. My puppy is wanting to be on this. I would say as a mom, what I look forward to are things that I have to do anyways, whether it's dishes or making a meal. Get over here. Someone needs a little love.
That cutie. What's his name? Her name.
Her name's Josie, and she's like a pom-pom with 3 buttons.
Hey, Josie, my little puppies would love to play with little Josie.
Oh my God, she's so fun. All right, we'll
We
get
have to
them
go
together.
play.
I would say what I'm really enjoying is pushing my own self a little bit. So it's, while she can take care of her lessons, it's about reconnecting with your kids in
Right.
a little bit more of a soulful way that you actually have time for. So like, for example, today when we're done, I'm going to go do a watercolor class with her on the deck, or we're going to go work out and do yoga together, even if it's just 10 minutes,
Yeah.
where we get a pause. And it's almost like, as a busy working parent, you get this permission
Right. Right.
to connect to your kid in a way that you always wished you could.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
a
great.
gift in that way. I have a 12-year-old. I get that younger kids are a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So we're
Younger kids,
enjoying it.
I really, my heart, I'm actually going to do an art class for one of my friends who has little kids. And we're going to do I'm going to do an art class with them because she's got 4 kids and she's like, there's not enough vodka on this planet.
I get it. I mean, I have cocktail hour every day, and I have no shame in that game. I'm enjoying it with my husband. I know we all have our health right now, but we're gonna miss this time.
I know. Look, it's a really wacky time, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it in any way.
No, it's hard and scary, and people are dying.
Yeah, if you take advantage of this moment where we all have to be at home, instead of being like, when's it gonna end? We all have to be a little bit more like, realize that what we're doing is hopefully protecting other people. But in addition to that, you have an opportunity to kind of connect with yourself and dig in. As I love that. So with that, I have to ask you, Miss Genevieve Gorgeous Quarter, if you were a superhero, what would you be? What would your power be?
Oh, if I were a superhero, what would my power be?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so hard. I'm not going to think of the commercial superheroes that are sold to us. Who I really think is a true superhero is that godmother from Cinderella. I'd want to be the Bippity Boppity Boo, where I would just pop in and swirl and change your shit. that is the superpower that I want. Your pumpkin is a car. Your shack is a real house. Your hurt is love. I would like to do that. The Bippity Boppity Boo person. I would like to fly, though. Just adding that.
You know what? Actually, I thought Carson Kress, I asked Carson this question, and he said to be invisible, and I thought that was a really good one.
No, I wanted
to
fly. As a Bippity Boppity Boo, I could do whatever. I could do all of it.
You could do anything. That's hilarious. So wait, I have we have another question.
There's so many questions I'm not answering.
No. So this is our last question today, unfortunately, because time is getting away from us. But how do you manage the business side of what you do as creative people? How do we manage it? I have Rosalie, who sort of runs sort of the day-to-day and the business, and she, kind of oversees everything from like a business perspective. And she's amazing. I have Laura Beck, who is, who's like, Laura, she's also great, and she's amazing. And she's doing all of our public relations and working with all of our licensed partner. I mean, she does really everything. And then I have a great team at the office, from designers to assistant designers, architects to assistants to the various people, and my personal assistant, and then someone that runs the showroom. So it's just, it's about having a team, I think, and empowering people to be able to do what they do and trusting them that they can do it. And also trying really desperately to, it's really hard for me. I have to try to keep up with it, and I get nervous every once in a while, but I've got a lot of balls in the air like you do. So how do you do it?
I like to run pretty slim. I don't like too many people.
Yeah.
Running my
business. Are you a control freak?
And a part of that.
Are you a control freak or not? You
are?
Are
you?
I'm
You're
not.
a designer.
Maybe I am.
Yes, you are. You're a designer. It's kind of, we control environments. No, I'm not a control freak in the sense that with business, I've known since I was born that it's not my forte. I had to kind of grow into that part of my life. However, I've also been burned by a lot of people not talking about love, but talking about business, whether they can take advantage of you because they know that you're too busy or you don't know enough.
Yeah.
I've had a really incredible, like you said, a village, a team of agents,
Right. Yeah. I know.
ranging from.
Trust me too. Yeah, I know. I love. Yeah, I mean, without them, I would have been.
No, and they
Some are.
also they also help define your worth. When as a designer, you're very passionate about what you do. You do it for free. If
Yeah.
someone didn't
Yeah.
suggest they pay
Yeah.
you, and so really showing me what I was worth and what I did was worth was a big lesson for me that took about 10 or 15 years to really own. And now
Yeah.
I can walk in with some swagger and say, nope, I won't do that. And no,
Yeah.
you're taking advantage of me. I'm also in my 40s and not in my 20s. So as a woman, I have a totally different voice. But I would say, yes, you cannot do this by yourself.
Yeah.
I
No, no.
don't like
It takes
7
a village.
people. I like 10.
Yeah, no, it takes a village, even if it's only 3 people. That's your village. That's your
Yep.
village. Some villages are 20 people. They could whatever, but you need to have people that you can trust. And I have to say, every once in a while, there's I in my world, I've had some managers or some people that have worked in my company that were maybe not the most legit,
Yeah.
and it did
I've had
not.
full
It
on
was scary.
thieves. I've had thieves. I
No,
think
no. Trust me.
off
I
of
had
it.
I've had people that have been very dishonest and have
Mhm.
just really, you know what? It's it's a learning, it's a life lesson. I learned from it, and the one thing I won't let it do is I don't want it to change my outlook in the world. You know what I mean? Like
Your
a
attitude. No,
I'm
no
a
way.
positive person, and I'm more aware of sort of like maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's I don't know what it is, but I don't have it. I've witnessed it, and now I know what to look for in
Yeah.
people, and I so those people have given me a gift, and those people are kind of not that interesting to begin
No,
with.
the worst people sometimes are your biggest lessons.
Yeah,
And I do think that we have to realize as creatives that what we do really is kind of the light on top of the
yeah,
tree. It is the
yeah,
light in life. And
yeah,
yes, there are all the other structural pieces that make the world run, but we
yeah,
give people hope, whether it's in their bedroom in the morning when they wake up and they think I can do this, or
yeah.
it's a piece of art that changes
Yeah,
someone's
right.
life. It's
Yeah.
really important.
Design. Yeah. When people are like, I'm going to be a designer, I'm like, you really have to you have to commit to it as a concept and learn it and learn it by just living it. You don't have to go to, not
Yeah.
everyone has to go to school. It's just, but it's, you really have to
And not
commit to
everyone is meant to do it just because they
Yeah.
think they can. And that's
Yeah.
okay too.
Yeah. You do. Genevieve,
I love you, Tommy.
I have to tell you, I just love you and your energy and gosh, you're amazing.
Adore you.
You've been amazing
Well,
from the
it's
day.
so nice to see you in this hard
I
time too. I
love
just love
seeing.
connecting with you.
Yes, and
Anytime,
we have to
I'm
connect
here for
them
you.
back, and I'm gonna be looking for you tonight when I'm watching on the news. Everybody clapping in New York. I think that's such an amazing thing.
I'll do
I
it. I'll ID it
dinner
tonight
tonight
for you.
as a home ec teacher, homeschooler, New York City mom, and I hope you have a delicious cocktail tonight.
Oh,
But
I
real,
just had one with you. I'll have another just for you.
okay, I would
Love
love
you
that.
guys. Thank you so much for all your time.
Thank you everybody for being here. And remember, tomorrow my guest is Corey Damon Jenkins from Detroit. He's in Detroit and New York City, but we're gonna be getting him in Detroit. He's alone. He is quarantining on his own. So hopefully we're gonna make him a little less crazy tomorrow and have a lot of fun. He's a great guy. He's a great friend. I know him so well from High Point. And he is super dapper and a lot of fun. And he's a great Detroit guy who's New York based as well. Remember, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, same bat time, same bat place with this batty ass decorator. Thank you guys for answering my house call today and inviting me into your home or wherever you are, your home office, wherever you're quarantining. And remember, shelter in place, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow. Lots of love. Talk to you soon. Bye.